Good morning, 5th graders. So today we are working on MD.4, week of 6-8, day 4, okay? Your page should look like this. There is a little bit of a broken question in here that we're going to kind of figure out how to solve because that's kind of funky. So, and that's the first question. It says if the volume of smaller cubes is equal to 1 centimeter cubed, then what is the total volume in cubic centimeter? And it just kind of has a circle here. So, which we haven't thought about the volume of circles at all this year. That's more of a middle school area. We're not worried about the circle. In fact, I'm just going to kind of cross that circle off, forget about it. Let me see if I can make this white so we can kind of like, it doesn't exist. Okay, bad circle. Doesn't exist. Bad circle. Okay, doesn't exist. All right, now it's gone. See? So what we're going to do here to kind of make this a little bit better is we're going to create our own shape, okay? So if you have any kind of small cube, so if you have like dice or anything like that, you can use that to create your shape, or you can try and make a shape that looks similar to the things over here. So I'm going to draw, and your drawings don't have to be perfect at all, okay? They just have to exist. All right, so that's my shape there. I'm going to say that this is four different cubes, okay? And I'm going to say that I have 3 layers of these 4 cubes, okay? So one layer, I'm going to just write that I have 3 layers. You can draw out your 3 layers, or you can draw a different shape and figure that out. But I know if I have 3 different layers of 4 cubes, that the problem is 3 times 4, or it's 4 plus 4 plus 4 for each of my different layers, okay? When we're doing volume, it is length times width times height, all right? So this lesson is all focused on volume. I also really want to make it clear that when we're doing volume, we have our units cubed, okay? When we're doing area, so area equals whatever your unit is. So if it's centimeters, then it's centimeters squared. Volume would be your, let's say it's inches this time, cubed, okay? But that could be centimeters. It's whatever it tells you. Here, we're working on centimeters. Mostly in 5th grade, we've worked on centimeters, all right? But it would be cubed. So if I have 3 layers of 4, I have 12 centimeters cubed. So you could say 3 times 4, or if we wanted to do length times width times height, we could say our length is 2, our width is 2, and our height is 3. So 2 times 2 times 3. That 2 times 2 is our 4 that we have here, times that 3. That's where I got that 3 times 4. All right, next problem. Fabian fills this box with unit cubes. How many unit cubes fit inside this box? So, same kind of thing. We're doing length times width times height. If you can see all of the cubes on a layer, and you know right there is 6, you can do 6, which would be your length and your width, times your height. Let me go ahead and undo that. Or you can do your length, which is 3, times your width, which is 2, times your height, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 6 times 2 times 3. And you can, the beautiful thing about multiplication is you can move things around a little bit to make it easier. So I'm going to move things around, and I'm going to say 2 times 3 times 6. Okay? So that equals the same thing. So 2 times 3 equals 6. 6 times 6 equals 36. All right, so this is 36. And it just says unit cubes. So I'll say units cubed. All right? Because it doesn't tell us that they're centimeters. They could be meters. They could be anything, really. So 36 units cubed. All right? Use unit cubes to create 3 different boxes with a volume of 36 cubic units. Then record the dimensions in the table below. Width, length, height. Okay, so it shows you what each of those represent. Explain your strategy. So this would be another good instance if you have a ton of dice or anything like that at home. That might be something that's helpful in thinking about that. You could also think about factor pairs. So if I'm breaking down 36 into factor pairs, so thinking back to 4th grade, because we haven't really done factors in 5th grade. But if you're breaking down 36, you want to think 36 equals blank times blank times blank. Okay, so we need to find 3 different ways. And we could technically just find one and move things around with the length, width, height, but we're going to try our best to figure out different combinations, okay? So if you're thinking about different things that multiplied together equal 36. If I look back up here, I had 2 times 3 times 6. So 2 times 3 times 6. And we can use that for our first one. So 2 times 3 times 6 would equal 36. Now I'm going to erase these ones. Now if I use that combination, I can think of a couple. I can use that to help me think of a couple more. I know that 2 times 3 equals 6. And I know that 6 times 6 equals 36. And I could have a height of 1. So I could have 36 all in one layer. And that would work too. So 6 times 6 times 1. Now, I can use, once again, I can use those different numbers to kind of think of another one. I want you to pause and see if you can think of one that doesn't use the same 3 numbers as these. And then you can continue. So I know that 6 times 2, so if I take these two, 6 times 2 equals 12. And then I could use 12 times 1 times 3. And there's other combinations you could do. You could do 6 times 3. I know that equals 12 or 18. I could do 18. 18 times 1 times 2. I know that 6 can be broken down. So 6 can be broken down into 2 times 3. And I could take this 2 and multiply it by this 2. And I would get 4 times 3 times 3. That would be another thing that would work. So 4 times 3 times 3. There's so many different possibilities. I noticed 3 times 3. So I could do 9 times, and I know 4 can be broken down into 2. So 9 times 2 times 2. 9 times 2 times 2. There's so many different combinations, guys, that I want you to see if you can find any more. See how many different combinations you can find to equal 36. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this question 1 is super weird, but if you can mostly figure out question 2, and especially question 3 is kind of my favorite right now, but if you can figure those out, then you're golden. All right, so I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me.